All right. Let me get these things out of the way and then present this so you guys can see it. Okay. And try to make this to where I'm looking at the camera, but so I have two screens here. I've got my computer and then I got my big screen over here. So I'm usually looking at the big screen, but the video thing, anyways. Okay. So we're going to move on to notes number 5. We're going to be talking about weather versus climate. So we now know the different layers of the atmosphere. We know that air is a big part of the atmosphere. Now we're going to see how different conditions or different things that happen with the air and the atmosphere can create different weather types. All right, first we're going to define what weather is. This is very, very important, and you're going to see why in just a minute. Weather is the condition of the air at a specific time in a specific place. Okay, so weather is what we call instantaneous, meaning it's happening right now. Okay, if I were to tell you the weather outside right now, I would need to look up what is the weather in Lewisville, Texas at 1:45 in the afternoon on Friday, August 21st, 2020. That's when I'm recording this video. So, you have to be very specific, okay? I can't just say, oh, the weather outside is 77 degrees. Okay, well, where are you? What time is it? Where's your location? What time is it? And then what day is it? What year is it, etc. Okay. I can talk about the weather here in Lewisville, and that may or may not be different than the weather in Highland Village, or the weather in Denton, or the weather in Arlington, or the weather in California. Okay. You have to be very specific, and weather can change from moment to moment. So if I'm giving you the weather at 1:45, I could also give you a different weather report at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or at 2 o'clock. Okay. As time goes on, the weather continues to change. So that's what's so important. Weather is what is happening right this moment. Okay. It's very instantaneous. It changes from time to time. But it's important to know what the weather is like at that time for transportation, right? If you're going to go on a motorcycle ride, you probably want to know if it's going to rain or not. Sporting events, agriculture, so farming, growing crops and things, those kinds of things, and any outdoor activity, really. If you're going to take a camping trip this weekend, you want to know what's the weather going to be like, so you can A, pack appropriately, and B, know what to bring to help you survive in that weather. People often make their plans based on what the weather will be like, and depending on where you live, the weather can change very quickly. So that's kind of what it has to do with the condition of the air at that time and at that place. Forecasting, okay, if you probably are familiar with this word, if you want to know what the weather forecast is going to be, maybe you watch the forecast on TV, on the Weather Channel, but this is scientific weather predicting. Okay, it's not just going outside and taking a guess and saying, well, it feels kind of warm today. I think it's going to be about 95 degrees. No, forecasting is based on the science and the data that we've received from the weather balloons, right, that we send up, and from the data that we have from past years in that area. We can predict or make a pretty good guess about what the weather will be like. So, forecasting is scientific weather predicting. Typically, the weather forecast will look something like this. Later on in the year, we'll talk about what these L's and H's and the little half circles and the triangles. We'll talk about what all of that means later on in the year. But for right now, we just want to know that forecasting has pictures and maps that